right, real quick, we're going to walk you around your thick dampening plate for your center lifter. You're going to need your thick, obviously. You're going to want to take off the original mount. If you're using that original mount, this is that mount here. You can see it's just a kind of static mount with some TPU dampening plate or dampening mounts. That's going to go away. Obviously, this one's still got a top plate attached. I just pulled the whole thing. This one's got a fresh top plate on it. You are going to need to decide which way you're going to mount it. Either front left and back right, or you can do it upside down, this way, doesn't matter. We're going to mount it this way. In order to get everything together, super simple here. And this goes for however you're mounting it, whether you're using a DSLR print. So we've got this DSLR stackable print here. That is the mount that just goes on it, and then you Velcro strap in your camera on top. We also will have these 3D printed mounts for Zcam, for BGH1, and Komodo. Here you can either screw in the holes in the front and on the sides, and or you can zip tie these front and rear holes, and then there's some 4-corner holes that you could zip tie also. You may want to do this before you mount the plate, especially if you're using screws. Screws you will want to come from the bottom side up. You'll need to have really low profile cap screws. And zip ties you can do after, totally fine. You don't have to do that right now. But if you are using screws, I would go ahead and identify that now and do it. So we're going to have our kit here. It has 8 carbon washers. Should have 4 20mm screws, 22 somewhere in there. Some go out with longer. We're starting to find the best length. I think it's 20, so we're going to stick to that. And then a couple of nuts. So the first thing you're going to do, take this dampener, and you're going to split it in half. Just like that. We're going to do that to all 4. And then we're going to mount these 4 in the holes. All right. So because I'm mounting mine this way, I'm going to go from the bottom, and I'm going to put the big piece on bottom, and I'm going to push it nicely into each hole. Make sure the whole thing gets in nice and seated in that hole. The reason you want the fat one on bottom is because that's where most of the dampening is going to occur, is on this nice big thick full dampener. Got those, right? Now we're just going to carefully get the top ones just kind of placed over and nicely aligned all the way over the top. Alright. Go. And now we've got our full dampeners reassembled inside the plate. They're just kind of held in there, right? Next up, we're going to set that down just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and take, and I should have done this already, but we're going to take our individual washers here, put the screw through them, and we're going to drop them individually through. Set this down like this. You're going to stick to the table a little bit when you go to lift them, so you're going to want to make sure you get those bottom pieces up. Alright, there we go, we got it out. Alright, so now we can put our screws all the way through. Tighten, or push them down. We're not trying to push any of this and squish it or anything. Next, we're going to go ahead and bring in the lower washers. These are going to get a little tricky, but if you just turn the plate sideways, as you put these in, you should be good. Go ahead and give them a little squeeze together so they kind of stick to those dampeners, right? Just like that, kind of feel the dampeners working. Keep it sideways until you're ready to kind of put it where it goes, and then it should just set nicely on all the screw holes. Oops. And if you push these side screws in first into their home, it should align the other screws for you. There we go. And those are going to go into standoffs. So those are just sitting right on top, but these should push down. So next up, tighten them down. Now this is where it gets, the trick is. So what you're looking to do is tighten these down, but you want them to start squishing the dampener. But once they start to squish, you don't need to tighten down any further. As soon as they start to compress, we're going to stop. And so to do that the best way, I like to push down, because one thing that you're trying to do is you're trying to keep this these grommets from spinning. So we're gonna, the dampeners, so we're gonna hold and kind of push down, and we're gonna start screwing in this screw just to where we can let up and the dampener gets squished just a little bit. So we're gonna go just 2 more turns, and there we go. Same thing for the front, and the good thing is if you do this to the front and the back first, it should pretty well. There we go. A little bit more. You do want to see these. There you go. You'll see them squish, like they'll start to flatten out a little bit, and you definitely want the top and the bottom to start to flatten, but just a little. If they look a little too like kind of puffy, like the bottom one still doesn't look like it's even got any pressure on it, again, just go ahead and tighten it down just a square. There we go. All right. So now that we've got those, we got the side panels that we need, or the side holes that we need to go ahead and put the lock nuts on. So for these, you're just going to use your finger at first to either spin them on or get them started nicely, however you want. And then I actually use a wrench that's part of a prop tool. I have one laying around. Well, I usually use a wrench on this, but I've got a box driver, so we'll use that. And then again, we're going to want to squish and push down on the dampeners just a little bit, because what we don't want to happen is that turning of the dampener that then causes it to spin and it starts to tear. So we're going to again get this just to where it pushes down and there's no, the screw is not loose, and there's a little bit of friction or pressure being compressed onto the dampeners. There we go. Actually, give that a turn back. There we go. And then over here, same one. And from there, we can mount our prints if there's prints. Alright, back that out just a hair. There we go. And now your dampening plate is mounted. You should be able to feel that it dampens, that it moves a little bit. That's the whole point, right? Is for it to compress and take away those vibrations. Now you can again adjust kind of the dampening by loosening and tightening these, but you're really looking for that, loose, just dampening force. That's how you're going to install your GAB 707 dampening plate, and I hope that helped. Fly safe, fly smart. Just fly. Peace.